Hello, I'm happy to see Ernst Lurker and his wife Helga Long here. Ernst, tell me a little bit about your life. What are you doing? What is your profession?
I'm an independent, free artist, and I have, ever since I graduated in Hamburg, I have been an independent artist, and I have invented my own art form. As a student already, I made an art form which I call Playart. I make objects that can be moved and can be played with, and consequently I call it Playart.
Okay, show me a little bit. This is one of the objects, I think the first you have invented and you have designed. Tell us a little bit what you can do with it.
This is in essence, you know, a piece that you can play with. So I have a straight form, and I can make an X out of it, you know.
Okay.
And you can make all kinds of different things with it, you know.
And you can make even an M?
And you can stand it up, and you know, it's a sculpture.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you move it.
Can you do the M?
That's the idea of Playart.
Good.
You see?
Very nice.
And it's a sculpture.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can do it like this, and it's also a sculpture.
Okay. Good. Ernst, we are here. You know, I'm a doctor, and you're a patient of mine. Can you tell us something about your illness, which was diagnosed, I think, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. The success was overwhelming, I must say. It was within few weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, I was virtually without symptoms.
Yeah, but what disease we're talking about?
Oh, Alzheimer's.
Exactly. This was diagnosed more than 5 years ago, right? When you were still in New York.
In New York, I didn't have Alzheimer's. It showed up when I came to New York.
You came up here with a report from a New York neurologist where the diagnosis was done.
The stress of the move and the broken furniture and all that kind of stuff created
Created certain anxiety, this I remember.
The anxiety and the stress, and I think it made Alzheimer's appear.
Okay, but thereafter, what happened?
Well, first I was struggling with it, and Helga's secretary discovered your reputation and sent me to you.
Yeah.
And we were very happy that we discovered you, because you dealt with it in a professional fashion, and you gave me the kind of medication that helped in virtually a few weeks.
Yeah.
I was very happy about it.
You were coping so good, and also Helga. Could you tell us a little bit something about this time when you came here?
It was a very unfortunate time with a lot of stress, but I did notice that Ernst was forgetting everything. He was very anxious all the time, and so I took him, before we discovered Dr. Nobbe, I took him back to New York. We got a diagnosis, early Alzheimer's. And needless to say, that was very disconcerting for both of us to have this kind of a diagnosis. So then we came back here, came here for treatment, because Ernst could not go back and forth to New York all the time. And I think with, first of all, having the right kind of treatment and the right kind of diagnosis, but also being able to live with it, and to live with it with a bit of grace. In other words, it's something that you include in your life, but you have a certain amount of less stress, because you understand what the diagnosis is, and then also I personally had to become less anxious about the entire diagnosis and where Ernst was going to go, and I'm thrilled that I really don't see any huge difference between 4 years ago, or him getting worse, to now. His hearing has gotten worse, but it has nothing to do with Alzheimer's. I mean, he's just living through old age, but I think with a lot of care and understanding, and a little bit of love doesn't hurt.
The understanding is required. She tells me, take the garbage out or something like that. And 2 minutes later, I forgot what she asked me to do.
Yeah, with this. The question is, this is only your Alzheimer's, it's just a male characteristic.
I was just going to say, I don't think that has anything to do with the disease.
No, I seriously forgot many things that she asked me to do.
Your brother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's after you were diagnosed.
Correct.
We saw him here, and he's now in a residence because he cannot live anymore on his own with his wife. Could you tell us a little bit about this situation?
I personally was so excited about my success that the symptoms disappeared within a few weeks, 2-3 weeks. My symptoms completely disappeared. And my brother had the same treatment in Stuttgart, Germany, and it was carrying on for months and months, and he didn't even recognize his wife. So, since I was so excited, we convinced my brother that he would come and see you, and you treated him, and he had to go back to Stuttgart, and his success is not the same as mine. But he did make some improvements, but he is struggling more than I don't call my daily life a struggle or stressful. It's relatively normal. Whereas my brother is not in the same shape, and I think you diagnosed it also, that my brother is not in as good a health situation as I am.
I think it's important to note also that his brother is 6 years younger than Ernst. And today he really has no memory at all. I don't think he even remembers Ernst. And I think a lot has to do with the kind of treatment or lack of treatment that he has. And I don't blame it on Germany. Lots of doctors really don't know how to work with Alzheimer's. And he's really in a very bad situation in terms of his memory and that sort of thing. And 6 years younger than Ernst.
Yeah. Honestly, we have to say that Ernst is not asymptomatic. He feels so, and this is good, so I don't want to criticize you, okay? But there's still some legs, but there's a really surprisingly stable situation. I think during the last 4 years, where we have no really behavioral alterations, or nothing really would worry us. We have to say, I think that we did supplements on nutrition, which is a kind of nerve food, what we gave them. Exactly.
Nutraceuticals.
Theracormine, which is from curcuma derivatives. Then we have ginkgo biloba tried, and we have all separate tried, and we have seen every time a step forward and not backward, which was so surprising. Yes. And finally, we have the classic treatment, also the pharmacological treatment. Yes. And I think all is mixed together, and mostly, and I think this is the most important thing, the social situation. And perhaps you could tell us a little bit, how do you manage it, how do you cope with it, and what can we learn from you, and what could other patients learn from your experience?
Well, I think the most important part is to accept what is, and make certain that if there is a bad moment or whatever, you let go of it. And that's certainly my experience, that you can't hold on to anger, you can't hold on to grudges, etc. You have to let go. You have to simply understand that it's a different part of life. And that acceptance on my part, and also on Ernst's part, has been very important. And we added one other little piece to our equation, which is we got a puppy. And that really has made a difference in Ernst's life as well, because he's able to have lots of affection, love, constantly. And I think that's one of the most important elements to the medication. You also have to have a lot of understanding and love.
Okay, so we can resume. Adequate treatment, don't forget about biological basis, fun and love.
Yes.
I think these are is a clue for your success.